Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. So we've been discussing this Kartik month, various pastimes of the Lord, various instructions from the scriptures. Primarily the goal is, today is the 15th day. That means, there are another 15 days which are remaining. Right? So imagine today is the last day of Kartik. I'm sure, all of you who are coming regularly, at least for all of you who are coming regularly, you'll feel, oh my God, it should have continued, isn't it? The festivities, the celebrations, the opportunity of hearing Krishna Katha. All not so easy, not so ordinary. So the meditation on the first day itself was, had it been the final day of Kartik, what we would have done, how much we would have missed it. So now that, it is not even the last day, still, the 15 days are remaining, how we can become more serious. Okay, and the theme that we had taken for this month, for the whole month, is this word yoga, which Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakalenaha mahata yoga nashta parantapa. And the word yoga has been translated by Prabhupada as the science of one's relationship to the Supreme. The reason why we are suffering in this material world is because we have forgotten the science of our relationship with the Supreme Lord. And this process of the purpose of Lord's descent is to ensure that we revive our relationship with the Lord. That's the only reason why the Lord comes. And like, the engine which is pulling the bogies, if we get pulled by the Lord, if we associate ourselves with the Lord, then we will also experience Satchit and Ananda. And the easiest way to do that is this 5 process which is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita: Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vas, and Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevan. Okay, can somebody repeat this without seeing? What is the first one? Sadhu Sangha. Nam Kirtan. Bhagavat Shravan. Mathura Vas. See, we think we know, isn't it? Sometimes we come here regularly and we think we know everything. It's not meant for me. But when it comes to actually repeating, it's not easy. 5 things are 5 things only. First thing is Sadhu Sangha. Second is Nam Kirtan. Third is Bhagavat Shravan. Fourth is Mathura Vas. Fifth is Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevan. Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevan is engaging in deity worship. Okay, so, and in this also, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Sakala sadhana shrestha ei panchanga, Krishna prema janmai ei panchera alpa sangha. Sakala sadhana shrestha, of all the devotional activities, of all the regulative principles which are given, these are shrestha, these are the topmost, ei panchanga. Krishna prema janmai ei panchera alpa sangha. You can generate Krishna prema, the love of God. Even a little, ei panchera alpa sangha, even a little association can create Krishna prema in our heart. And the first one that we had was Sadhu Sangha, and we took this verse, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hai Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Prema Janme Tenoh Punah Mukhya Anga. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hai Sadhu Sangha. You really want to have Krishna Bhakti in your heart, the root of that is Sadhu Sangha. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hai Sadhu Sangha. Without Sadhu Sangha, forget about Krishna Bhakti. Krishna Prema Janme Tenoh Punah Mukhya Anga. Even if you develop Krishna Prem, then also Sadhu Sangha remains the main Anga. Then we had 6 examples. Narada Muni appearing in the life of these 2 intoxicated sons of Kubera, Manikuvera and Nalagriva, who were completely intoxicated because of the pride of being born to a rich father, and were playing with this, were having this water sports with the women when Narada Muni appeared, which they were completely callous about. And Narada Muni cursed them, and how they became trees. And they had the good opportunity of meeting the Lord and becoming delivered or liberated. Then we saw how Narada Muni appeared in the life of Mrigari, and his life got transformed. He became a saint. Then we saw how Narada Muni himself narrates his own pastime of his previous life, where he came in touch with this Bhaktivedantas. It's okay. Bhaktivedantas, and his life also got transformed, isn't it? We saw this. Then we saw the conversation that Jadabharat has with King Rahugana, and how Jadabharat says that without doing Niskinchananam Bhagavad Unmukhasya, without doing the Niskinchananam Pado Rajobhisekam, sorry. So without doing the Abhishekam of the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, one cannot make progress. Then we saw this Sukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Sukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj says, just the remembrance, yes, Maria Mananam, just the remembrance of a pure devotee can deliver us. What to speak about, associating with them, talking to them, watering, taking Charanamrita from their feet and all. We saw that. And the last one that we saw was the dog being delivered by the mercy of one devotee. That was in Sadhu Sangha. If you want, we can repeat this verse. Bhavapavargo brahmato yada bhavej janasya tarhi achyuta satsamagamaha satsangamo yarhi tadeva sadgato paravareshe tvai matihi. Bhavapavargo brahmato yada bhavej. After wandering in this material world in different planets, in different bodies, janasya tarhi achyuta satsamagama. When he becomes almost eligible for liberation, he gets an association, he gets an opportunity to associate with the devotees. Janasya tarhi achyuta satsamagama. Don't take it lightly. And satsangamo yarhi tadeva sadgato. Satsangamo yarhi tadeva sadgato. So in that satsangam, when somebody comes in that association of devotees, para varese tvai jayate mati. Para vareshe tvai, para avara. So para is the spiritual world, avara is this material world, Isha is the controller, that is the Supreme Lord. Para vareshe tvai jayate matihi. One develops an attraction for the Supreme Lord. Then the second one that we saw was Nama Kirtan. Nama Sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranashanam pranamo dukkha samanas tam namami harim param. Bhagavatam concludes with this verse, says that whose kirtan, whose Nama Kirtan, Nama Sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranashanam, it destroys all the sinful activities inside us. Pranama dukkha samanas, pranama, I am bowing down to that Lord, tam namami harim param, whose names can destroy all the ills of chanting, all the ills of the sinful activities. We saw this example of Haridas Thakur meeting the prostitute and how the prostitute transforms into a devotee. Also, we spoke about this quote from the famous Jim Carrey, who says, I hope everybody could get rich and famous and will have everything they ever dreamed of. So they will know that it's not the answer. Basically, the soul which is starving and which is thinking that by becoming rich or famous we can enjoy is a fallacy. And this is not spoken by somebody who has not achieved this, but rather by somebody who has achieved everything. Uh, don't get disturbed by people coming and going. That will happen, don't worry. Then we took this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which says, Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddha Nitya Mukta Abhinnatvan Nama Namina. The position of holy name. It's Chintamani, Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddha Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvan Nama Namina. There's no time to describe all these things, but then we had also this verse which says, Kalikale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. In this Kalikala, in this present age, Krishna has taken incarnation in the form of holy name. Kalikale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. Nama Haite Hai Sarva Jagata Nistar. Nama Haite Hai, by chanting the holy name, one associates with the Lord directly, and by doing this, Sarva Jagata Nistar, one gets deliverance from this Jagat, from this material world. Then we saw this Krishna mantra haite have samsara mochana, Krishna nama hoite pave, Krishnera charana. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. And this beautiful verse, Nama bino kalikale nahi ar dharma, sarva mantra saranam, ei sastra marma. And then the last one that we had in this, Etan nirvidya mananam, ichatam akuto bhayam, yoginam nripanirnitam, Hare nama anukirtanam. This is the answer to question which is asked by Parikshit. Now we have started this Srimad Bhagavatam Shravan, which has started from yesterday. Okay, so the third aspect, what is the first one that we had? Sadhu Sangha. What is the second one? Nam Kirtan. And the third one is that was, you can repeat, Sarva Vedanta Saram Hi Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate Tadrasamrita Triptasya Nanyatra Syadratih Kvache Sarva Vedanta Saram. This is the essence of all Vedic literatures. Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate. This is considered. Tad Rasamrita Triptasya. The important word that is used here is Triptasya. It satisfies one completely. Well, ultimately, whether you're devotee or not devotee, we are all looking for happiness and bliss, and we are thinking how can we be satisfied in our life. Tad Rasamrita Triptasya. This is nectar. Nectar filled with mellows, and it can satisfy one completely. Triptasya. Nanyatra Syadratih Kvachit. No other literature is required. Srimad Bhagavatam is accepted as the essence of all Vedic literature and Vedanta philosophy. Whoever tastes the transcendental mellow of Srimad Bhagavatam is never attracted to any other literature. This is what we have seen. Now, day 15, continuing with the meditation on Bhagavat Shravan, my question, or rather, the premise on which this presentation is based is, in this material world, if you have to come, please come and sit. If you don't go out, that will be much more appreciated. Please come, please. So in this material world, usually when you ask people to come or be part of satsang, one of the very important doubts or one of the questions that they raise is, we are always busy, right? We are busy, we have got so many important things to do. I have to survive, I've got my family members, relatives, I have to work hard, I have to study hard. What will I do if I don't do this? Who will take care of me? So there's just a quote I found somewhere. I was just putting this keyword survival mode, and this came up. It's hard to flourish when we are in survival mode. Very interestingly, Bhagavatam mentions in the first canto, Tasyaiva heta prayateto krovida, nalabhyate yat brahmatam upariyadha, talabhyate dukkhavat, what is that? Talabhyate dukkhavat anyata sukham, kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. Very, very important verse. You may say, I'm busy, I'm doing my duty, I have to take care of my family, I have to take care of my career, I have to take care of my life. But Bhagavatam is saying, no, don't live life in this survival mode where you're always busy. Busy for what? Busy for my survival. So that's what I'm supposed to do. What else I'm supposed to do? Whatever I am doing, I'm supposed to get better. And in the process of getting better, I have no time. But he, Bhagavatam, is telling, Tasyaiva heta prayateto kovido. Do activity, only make efforts for that thing which is the ultimate end. And what is that? That is going back home, back to Godhead. Tasyaiva heta prayateto kovido. Only make efforts for that. Tasyaiva heta prayateto kovida na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyadha. If you go to the heavenly planets or you go down, still this is not available. The happiness which is derived from sense gratification will anyway come, like the dukkha is coming. Like, kalena sarvatra, in due course of time, as you are getting miseries which you didn't want, similarly the happiness also will come. No point working hard for that. Tasyaiva heta prayateto kovidho nalabhyate yat brahmatam uparyadha tallabhyate dukkhavat anyatra sukham kalena sarvatra gavhira rama. So this is Bhagavata's premise. Actually, what is Bhagavatam and why it is so special? Why? What is there? I mean, probably for half an hour, what half an hour? If half a year or half a month, or even not half a month, half a year, or maybe, years together, if we glorify Bhagavatam, it's insufficient. So wonderful literature, so wonderful. You see it from any angle. You want to see it from, like, just purely from the composition point of view. Bhagavatam's poetic composition is amazing. Is it just poetic? Usually if something is poetic, it will lack the essence. Oh, it is filled with so many powerful things. Let's see some quickly, very quickly, I'll give you some examples. There is a verse in Bhagavatam. I mean, most of the Bhagavad Gita verses are written in Anustup Chand. It's very easy to pronounce. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsava mamakaha pandavaschaiva kim akurbata sanjam. Most of the verses, bearing few in the 11th chapter, 2nd chapter where Arjuna was completely bewildered, the existential crisis, when he surrenders to Krishna, he says, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. That meter changes. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prichami tvam dharma samudha cheta yat shreyasyan nischitam bruhitan me sisyas teham sadhi mam tvam prapanam. That meter changes. But in Bhagavatam, it is filled with the different compositions, different meters, extremely beautiful. The first two verses, that is called Shardula Vikriditam, like a lion, like a cub who's playing, it is in that meter. Dharma projita kaitavo atra paramo nirmat saranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu sivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimba Pareirishwaraha Sadyo Hridi Avarudhyate Atra Kritibhi Shushrushubi Statshanat. It's like a lion cub who's jumping and coming down, jumping and it cannot be for a bird. It's a Sardula Kriti. Dharma projita kaitavo atra paramo nirmat saranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu sivadam tapatrayon mulanam. You take the first verse. Janma dasya yato anvayadi tarataschartheshu abhigya swarat tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye mushyanti yat surayah. This is the meter which is produced in the first two verses. But the third verse again changes. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam Sukhamukhadamrita drava samyutam Pivata bhagavatam rasamalayam Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavaka. Oof, Bhagavatam. What a fruit, what a matured fruit of Vedic literatures. It's available to us. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. Of all the Vedic literatures, if they are compared to a wish-fulfilling tree, the most important thing in that tree is the fruit which is not raw, ripe. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. Sukhamukhadamrita dravasamita. And what to speak of a fruit which is being, if a parrot has bitten it, I mean, there is a bite of a parrot, like a guava or a mango. If you taste something which is tasted by the parrot, it becomes even more relishable. Since it is coming out of the mouth of a pure devotee like Sukadeva Goswami, it is so relishable. And mind you, Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. He's not telling a fruit cannot be drunk, but he's telling you drink this fruit. Why? Because the peel and the seed has been taken away. It's like a semi-solid thing which can be like a amras kind of a thing, which you can just drink. Pivata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. If you are really thoughtful, you will not go for anything else. You want to know this. So again, so this is one kind of a meter. Then there is another meter which is called a Rajahamsi. It comes in the Gopi Geet, which is sung during this month of Kartik. What is that beautiful verse? Tava Kathamratam Tapta Jivanam Tava Kathamratam Tapta Jivanam Srimadatam Shravana Mangalam Um, Kavivireditam is there. What is it? Tavakathamritam. So basically, the meter, if you see, it's like a swan who's going and then changing his side. Tavakathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Srimadatam Shravana Mangalam Srimadatam Bhuri Granati Ye Bhurida Jana. This is the regal walk of a swan, right? Tavakathamritam tapta jiva. And if you know the meaning, even if you don't know the meaning, this meter to compose something is not easy. And Bhagavatam has got that. Anyway, these are the literally, I mean, just the composition itself is so glorious. And then Bhagavatam is telling, Tasyaiva heta prayateto kovido. You endeavor for that one thing which is not achievable even if you wander through different material worlds. It is not achievable. Obtaining happiness which is derived by the contact of the sense objects is anyway going to come, like misery is coming. The question is, now, what are we going to focus today? Srila Prabhupada, the Rasika Acharya, has given wonderful commentaries to the purports of Bhagavatam. Wonderful commentaries. The original Bhagavatam was spoken in 4 nutshell verses by Krishna to Brahma. Brahma then spoke this to Narad Muni. Narad Muni gave this instruction to Vyasa. And then Vyasa wrote it in 18,000 verses. But Prabhupada has given this elaborate commentaries on these verses, which makes it so relishable. Oof, it's just amazing. Unfortunately, people don't know the importance of Bhagavatam and they shy away. They think I'm prasadam lenge. Are prasadam says karodo guna. I mean, 1 crore times more relishable is Bhagavatam if you know how to experience the taste. Mind you, but it's not easy. It's not that easy. My question to all of you, whoever are exposed to Bhagavatam, can you tell me which is the most quoted verse from Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Prabhupada? Which is the one that he quotes the most? Any verse that you know from Bhagavatam, if at all, you can go for it. We hear it in lectures many times. Prabhupada quotes many of the verses. Nivritta Tarshay Rupagiyamanat. That comes in the Krishna book and the introduction. Prabhupada writes, Nivritta Tarshay Rupagiyamanat Bhavo Sodhat Chotra Manobhiramat Ka Uttama Shloka Gunanubhadat Vina Birajeta Vina Pasugnat. Nivritta Tarshero, whether you are completely free from all the desires for the hankering for the material world, or you have desires. Then if you have a desire, then it will act as a manobhir, it's an aushadha, ka uttama shloka gunanuvadat. What is that medicine? Medicine is the uttama shloka gunanuvadat, the glorification of the Supreme Lord. Good verse, but that's not the one. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje. It's one of the top 5 quoted verses of Prabhupada, but not the number 1. But yeah, it's very powerful verse. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahetuki apratihata yenatma suprasidati. Very powerful verse. Savai pumsam. When the sages in the Naimisharanya, out of deep compassion, asked these questions to Sutta Goswami, they put forward 6 questions. One of the first question was, what is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and what is it that one should do by which he'll be completely satisfied? The answer was Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahetuki apratihata yenatma suprasidati. That's not the one. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering service to a pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving devotional service to the Lord is established as an irrevocable fact. No. Atha pumbher dvijashreshta varnashrama vibhagasa. What is that? Swanishtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. No. Huh? Nama Sankirtanam Yasya. Prabhupada doesn't quote that so often, but that's how the Bhagavatam means. Vasudeva Yoga Prayojita. Janayati Yasu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayada Hetukam. No, no. Which one? Shranam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Yan Maithunadi Grahamidi Sukhamitucham. No. It's important to know. That's the one. Can we have a Haribol? We got it somehow. Okay. The verse talks about, huh? Yes, Prahlad. The verse talks about one of the greatest lie in this material world, which we all live with. The greatest lie. And that lie, even though we know that it is a lie, we still continue to do that. And the lie perpetuates our existence, elongates our existence in this material world. The lie makes us believe that we can somehow or other, if we do this, something will happen to us, which is an all positive thing. And that lie is the biggest lie which Bhagavatam wants to break. Prabhupada says that. What is the verse? Let's chant this verse. Nate vidu swarthagatim hi Vishnu Durasaya ye bahirartha manina Andha yathandhe rupaniyamanas Te pisha tantryam urudam nibaddha Nate viduh swarthagatim hi Vishnu Durasaya ye bahirartha maninaha Andha yathandhe rupaniyamana Tepi shatantriyam urudam nibaddha. One more time we'll do. Nate viduh swartha gatim hi Vishnu Durasaya ye bahirartha maninaha Andha yathandhe rupaniyamana Tepi shatantriyam urudam nibaddha. So what is the biggest lie that we live with in this material world? That by material success, by materially achieving some things, we can be happy in this life. Material success, material positions, material fame will give us the happiness. And that is the biggest lie. But we keep trying, keep trying. He's telling here, this is Prahlad Maharaj is telling, Nate Bidu. Bidu is to know. We don't know that our real goal is Vishnu. We are all selfish. We want to be, even our family members, in the worst case, if there is a danger, first I would like to see how I can protect myself. Then I'll see if I can protect my children, my husband, wife, whatever it is. Nate Vidu, but we don't know that our real selfish goal is Vishnu. Nate Viduhu Swartha Gatim He Vishnu. We want to be selfish. You are all selfish people. Good. Be selfish. But know what is your self-interest. We don't know. Nate Vidu Swartha Gatim He Vishnu. In Padma Purana, there is a verse which comes, which talks about the importance of knowing Vishnu. It says, Yasya Smarana Matrena Janma Samsara Bandhanat Vimuchyate Namastasmai Vishnave Prabha Vishnave. Yasya Smarana Matrena. Here, how difficult for people to remember the Lord. Yasya Smarana Matrena. Just some glimpse, just a little bit. I just remember the Lord. Yasya Smarana Matrena Janma Samsara Bandhanat Vimuchyate. Janma Samsara Bandhana. This bandhana, this bondage of our birth in this material world. Janma Samsara Bandhanat Vimuchyate. One becomes free. Namastasmai Vishnave Prabha Vishnave. I bow down to that Vishnu. Nate Viduhu Swarthagatim Hi Vishnu. We don't know that our real self-interest lies in knowing Vishnu. Nate Vidu Swarthagatim Hi Vishnu. Durasaya ye bahirartha manina. We are engaging in all kinds of activities. Primary goal is by having a lot of money, having some success, having some kind of position, I will be happy. And that is that consciousness which is trapped in this kind of a thinking is not able to come out because why it is so struck in that? Why am I not getting this? Andha yathandher upaniyamanas. Andha yathandher means I have got a role model who's telling, yeah, I'm a materially conscious person. Yeah, do this, do this. Why are you, trying anything else? Just come behind me. But what we don't realize is that he's a blind man. And when you are following a blind man, you will go and fall into a ditch. And what is that ditch? Te pisha tantryam murudam nibaddha. Because of our activities, te pisha tantram, apisha tantryam.
The ropes of the laws of material nature, they bind us. Te pishatantriam urudamni baddha. We are bound in this material world, stuck forever. Nate bidu swarthagatim he Vishnum durasayaye bahirarthamanina. These are all external things we are trying this way, that way, trying to be happy, doing all these things. Durasaya, it's a hope against hope. Durasayaye bahirartham. Ask yourself deep within, not read this. Not Bhagavatam has no intention to cheat. It tells us, shows us the mirror, what we are doing, what we should do. Nate vidu swarthagatim he Vishnum durasayaya bahirarthamanina andha yathandeherupanyamanas tepi shatantrayam murudam nibaddha. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life. This is the lie, biggest lie, that you can be happy. Are Krishna is telling dukkhalayam asasvatam. Napnubanti mahatmanaha. Dukkhalayam asasvatam. This is a place of misery and this is temporary. No. We don't want to listen to this. We can be happy. I will enjoy in this material world. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive lever, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. It's a very painful thing. Very painful thing. Just to be happy in this material world, such a big price we have to pay. Oof. And finally, ultimately, what happens? We die, leaving everything here with our near and dear ones, that hope, that goal, that enjoyment that we want to have. We want to have this permanently. We can't. Ate bidu swarthagatim he Vishnu. Why did I bring this? Because the whole point is Bhagavatam is telling us about the Supreme Lord and about our eternal relationship with the Lord, which Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. But there are 700 verses. Bhagavatam gives elaborate explanations, elaborate examples. Every single character of Bhagavatam glorifies about this. So wonderful. So there is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, Krishna tulya Bhagavata vibhu sarvashraya prati shloke prati akshare nana arthakaya. Krishna tulya Bhagavata. Krishna is non-different from Bhagavatam. When the Lord comes as fish, what do we call that? Matsya avatar. When the Lord comes as Baraha, the boar, what do we call? Baraha avatar. When the Lord comes as half lion, half man. When the Lord comes as a book, Bhagavatam. Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhu Sarvashraya. Krishna Tulya Bhagavata. Non-different. Tulya is same. Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhu Sarvashraya. Prati shloke prati akshare nana arthakaye. Prati shloke, in every shloka, in every akshara, there are so many meanings. Nana arthakaye. Srimad Bhagavatam is great as Krishna, the Supreme Lord and shelter of everything. In each and every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam and in each every syllable, there are various meanings. So it's a beautiful verse in Bhagavatam which comes. We'll repeat this. Krishne swadhamo upagate dharma jnanadhibhi saha kalau nashta drishamesha puranarko adhunoditaha. One of the questions which was asked by the sages of Naimisharanya, one of the questions that Krishna now has gone back. We all know from, at least from Mahabharata serial, that V.R. Chopra serial, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyurthanam Adharmasya Tadatmanam Smrajamiha. The Lord descends to re-establish the principles of religion. When there is a glani, when there is a decline in the principles of religion, He comes down to re-establish. But now that the Lord has gone back, their question was, where has Dharma taken shelter? And to answer to that question, Sutta Goswami says, Krishna swadhama upagate. Now that Krishna has gone back to his abode, along with dharma and jnana, dharma jnana devi saha, kalo nashta drisham. People who are there in Kali Yuga are blinded. Nashta drisham. They don't know what is to be done, what is not. Don't worry, but if you say that everything is lost, then what is the hope for us? No, kalo nashta drisham esa puranarko adhunoditaha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, brilliant like a sun, has arisen after the departure of Krishna. And it can give direction to all the misdirected people of this Kali Yuga who are completely blinded. They just don't know. The Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. There are many things to cover, but I would say if somebody asks you, what is the content of Bhagavatam? What is it that Bhagavatam talks? What is it? What is the special thing? Why Bhagavatam was composed by Vyasadeva? What is the special content in that? You can repeat this verse after me. Anartha upasamam sakshad bhakti yogam adhokshaje lokasya jananto vidvams chakre satvata samhita. So it's a very beautiful verse. This is the verse which is spoken by Vedavyas. He says, why did he write this Bhagavatam? Because Bhagavatam, before writing Bhagavatam, he has written the Vedas, the Upanishads, so many Vedic literatures he has written. What was the need for writing Bhagavatam? Anartha upasamam sakshat. Anartha upasamam. There are many things which we do, many miseries that we go through in this material world. We don't deserve all those. They are superfluous. I'm not supposed to go through all this. I am a spirit soul trapped in this body, but I'm tormented by this anarthas. Anarthas, this kleshas, those miseries which are adidavik, adibhautik, and adhyatmik. These kleshas torment me. I don't want to get engaged. I don't want to suffer these miseries. What is the solution? Anartha upasamam. Upasamam means immediately it will get mitigated. Anartha upasamam sakshad bhakti yogam adhokshaje. When we engage in devotional service to the Supreme Lord, all these anarthas will get mitigated. But lokasya jananto vidvams, nobody knows about this. Chakre satvata samhita. That's why Vedavyas, who is a literally incarnation of the Lord, wrote Bhagavatam. Chakre satvata samhita. So Bhagavatam is a glory of the Supreme Lord. It's a glory of devotional activity. It's a glory of a devotee. So devotee who has got an eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, in the process of devotion, that is the relationship, is glorified in Bhagavatam. This was the instruction by Narad Muni to Vedavyas, that you directly glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't do it any indirect way. And when we hear in a very authentic manner the glories of the Lord, oh, we feel so happy in the material. We feel so happy in our heart. It's pleasing to the ears, it's pleasing to the heart. We look for that. We are hankering for that. Unfortunately, we don't have a taste, and we don't have the right understanding and knowledge, so we get drifted away. But if you somehow or other, if you are fortunate and you hear Bhagavatam, life will be transformed. Anartha upasamam sakshat bhakti yogam adhokshaje lokasya janando vidvams chakre satvata samhita. Mind you, this is called Satvata Samhita. This is for the pure devotees. Chakra, he compiled this. Vedavyas could see that people in Kali Yuga, they'll not have that memory. So he put it in writing. Chakra Satvata Samhita. And this wonderful Vedic literature is available to us. We should take advantage of this fully, in a determined way, that I must understand. I must get this knowledge and get out of this cycle of birth and death. That is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. Unfortunately, we have very less time. Today happens to be also Diwali, and we sing this beautiful song called Damodara Ashtakam in the whole month. So what I will do is, before we close, we will take two incidents because we have time till 8:19, and the song that we sing is called Damodara Ashtakam. We'll just take the first verse, the first stanza of this, and understand this, and then we will also see another thing which happened on today's day was Lord Ram's arrival in Ayodhya. Right? So we will chant one verse of Lord Ram, and then we will go for Damodara Ashtakam. So the first verse of Damodara Ashtakam is, which we sing every day, we are singing, right, in this Kartik month. Namami swaram sachidananda rupam lasat kundalam gokule bhrajamanam yashoda bihulukala dhavamanam param drashtamatyantato dhrutya gopya. Namami Swaram. Actually, sometimes when we go to some house program, we carry the deities of Yashoda Krishna, the Damodar form. People think, yeah, even I have a small child, very naughty. He also does all these kind of things, like Krishna you are mentioning, breaking the butter pot. My child also does. I also don't chastise. Sometimes I carry the stick with my hand, But I think no, my motherly love, but I see my baby's face, it looks like Krishna. So I think no, I should not chastise. Satyavrata Muni is telling this is not some sahajiya thing. It's not some, my child Krishna, what is the difference? Namami Swaram. First thing he's telling. Oh, don't mistake him to be ordinary child. Ishwaram. He's the supreme controller. Namami Swaram Sat Chit Ananda Rupam. Then it talks about his form. First it talks about his tattva. Tattva is very important to know. Without knowing the tattva, all these things will look like some sentiment or mental this thing. Namami Swaram. Oh, I bow down to that Lord, Supreme Lord. Vishnu I was talking about. Nate vidu swartha gatim he Vishnu. Few days back, we were reading Bhagavatam, Bhishma Dev's prayer, where he says, all these Vishnus are coming out of Krishna. Nate vidu swarthagatim hi Vishnu. That Vishnu is also coming from Krishna. Namami Swaram. I bow down to that Supreme Lord. He is not ordinary boy. Namami Swaram Sat Chit and Ananda Rupam. He's not ordinary people like us who are forced to accept this material body based on the law of karma facilitated by material nature. No. Atma Maya. He comes down on his own accord. And his body is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Namami Swaram Satchidananda Rupam. Lasat Kundalam Go Kule Vrajamanam. The third thing that is mentioned is Lasat Kundalam. The earrings of Krishna are like shark-like, Makara Kundala. So that earring has a special position because it is constantly touching the cheeks of Krishna. And when he's running, whatever he's doing, or he's scared, he's doing this thing, it is touching, the Krishna's this thing. Mind you, this entire pastime, Krishna is only crying. He got up and came. He saw that Mother Yashoda is, churning butter. So he started crying. So Mother Yashoda started feeding, started doing breastfeeding. Then again, Mother Yashoda came with the stick to chastise. Krishna was running. He was crying. He was caught up. Again, he was crying. So this scene is very bewildering, even to a pure devotee like Kunti Maharani. What is that verse? Kritaga Siddhama Tavat. Kunti Maharani is bewildered. Are, that Supreme Lord, he's crying. Who the fear personified is scared of, he's crying. And Mother Yashoda is trying to punish. She is bewildered. So that is why, even though he's crying like an ordinary baby, he is Ishvara. Namami Swaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam. First is the Aishwarya or the Tattva, then it talks about the Rupa, and then the aspect of this Leela of the Lord. This Lasat Kundala's glories are unlimited. We don't have time. I can take some verses from Bhagavatam. Wonderful. What great fortune that Kundala has. The Acharya's comment that it is touching the cheeks of Krishna permanently. Namami Swaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam. Then the next one is talking about the glories of the Parivar, the family of Krishna. Nanda Baba and Yashoda are not ordinary father and mother. Unbelievable glories of what all they have done. Kritapunja Punja, they would have done so much of pious credit to be born as parents of this. Namami Swaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam. Then Yashoda Bihuluka. No. The third line is what? Is it the third line? Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam. Yashoda Bihuluka Ladhavamanam. Paramrishtam Atyanta To Drutya Gopya. Mind you, Krishna, actually Mother Yashoda, when she saw that, Krishna has broken the pot, she came with a stick. She was trying to hide it, and she came there. Krishna was scared, and Krishna started running, thinking that Mother Yashoda is not going to go beyond the courtyard of Nanda Baba. But Mother Yashoda started chasing. Yashoda Bihuluka La Dhavamanam. She's running to capture Krishna. And very beautifully, there is a verse in Bhagavatam which comes. I don't know if we have time to go there, but it's a beautiful verse of what exactly was happening. Kshaumam Vasa Pruthukati Tate Bibhrati Sutra Nadham Putra Sneha Snutakucha Yugam Jata Kampam Cha Subruhu. Rajju Akarsha Srama Bhuja Chalat Kankano Kundalecha. Actually, Mother Yashoda was wearing bangles. It's a Diwali day, today's day. This pastime happened. She was wearing bangles, and the bangles were rubbing against each other, and they were making the sound of a kartal. And the churning rod against the mud pot, they are making the sound of a mridanga. And she is doing this churning, and she is Shaumam Vasa Pruthukati. She is wearing a vest, this thing, jewelry, saffron yellow color sari, malati flowers, they're falling down, and she's doing vivid description of all those things. And she is chanting the glories of Krishna and completely absorbed. Point is, when we are absorbed in Krishna, the reason why people come to the material world, they have some problems and they think the means to get solution is from the Lord. No, the reason why we are having problem is so that we can increase our absorption in Krishna. Unfortunately, that doesn't come. Anyway, she was completely absorbed with that, and then this vivid description is there. Lasat Kunda, but then Mother Yashoda was trying to chase and capture Krishna, and that was not possible. But somehow, when she surrendered, Krishna gets captured, and so on and so forth. But what I'm trying to say is the meaning of this Damodara Ashtakam is very powerful. That pastime happened in this. If you meditate on that when you're singing, you will be completely absorbed. That is what is needed. The last thing which happened was Lord Ram's arrival in this Ayodhya. So we will chant this one verse. Mind you one thing, Bharat was waiting for Lord Ram every second for the 14 years of exile, every second. Just be in Bharat's position for a moment and think when you would have seen Lord Ram has come back, how much of joy he would have experienced, how much of bliss. Currently, our hearts are deserted. We have banned the Lord from our heart, and it is fully dark, and we are suffering. Moment we invite the Lord in our heart, everything becomes all right. You can experience genuine bliss. So the word Ram itself has so much of pleasure. We will chant one verse, you can repeat after me. Shri Rama Rama Raghunandana Rama Ram. Shri Rama Rama Bharata Graja Rama Ram. Shri Rama Rama Ranakarkasha Rama Ram. Shri Rama Rama Sharanam Bhava Rama Ram. Shri Ramachandra Charano Manasa Smarami. Shri Ramachandra Charano Bachasa Granami. Shri Ramachandra Charano Shirasa Namami. Shri Ramachandra Charano Saranam Prapadye. So on this auspicious day of Diwali, I wish that in our heart the Lord comes and destroys this darkness of ignorance with the shining lamp of knowledge, and we realize what really our goal of life is, how valuable this human form of life, instead of trying for all these things which are lies, which are superfluous. We actually see what is the real goal, and we make progress in that direction. With that, we will stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari.